Now we will see the supporting lights to balance our scene in terms of lighting. Supporting lights, friends, when you press the plus sign on this plus icon, we can refer to it here as a Scheiper, or circular light, bulb. Spotlight, line, and rectangle lights, friends. Spotlight is a very powerful light, and it directly transfers the light coming from outside to the inside. It is also one of the most used types of light by us, friends. To place the spotlight, we need to simulate the point where the sun has come. That is, by showing the angle there. We need to make a placement here. How? Let me show you right away, friends. It's very simple. Look, now, this is the part where my window is, right? I drew a line here, and drew a line upwards, and brought it here. I placed it here. This is an angle, so I want the light to be placed here from this angle, friends. However, since SketchUp often crashes during light placements, I immediately press the Save button to save the file, friends. I will save the angle from which the light comes, and will install a spotlight here. There will be 2 spotlights for each window, making it 2, 4, 6. I will also replicate these upwards, friends. I will adjust the simulation of the light, that is, the sun, coming inward. Look now, and a very efficient light intensity will come inside. Look, I'm closing this. I'm deleting these, friends. I took my spotlight. I clicked one here and one here. Oops, I did it the wrong way. I'm clicking the spotlight. One here, I click here again, and release, friends. Look, it's also asking me for the angle. Let's do it like this and leave it, as you can see. After doing this, what immediately appeared in front of me? The intensity, that is, the strength of the light appeared. Look at the angle of the light here. You can turn the angle on and off. The current normal angle is sufficient. Look, as you can see. Now, I'm going to slide this with the move, like this. I'll move it a little bit upwards. Look, right next to the glass. Let me delete this now. I have no use for it. I came. I selected this, friends. I added one, here with Control. When I change one of these, they all change at once. I took this next to it. I placed this, next to it with Control, and continued, adding next to it, friends. Look, like this. And I select all of them again. I made it into a group. I'm doing it very simply, as you can see. I'm taking this. I duplicated it like this with Control. I said 5 times X. Let it duplicate 5 times upwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And let's duplicate one more, friends. Upwards. And I left it like this. Look, I created a duplication system like this. When you enter one of them and select it, look, the intensity part is active. Let's increase the light intensity a bit and go. Check our render. You can see that this part is more illuminated. This part is more illuminated. As you can see, the light has fallen a bit more here. The shading here. The light has come inside. More. As you can see, friends. So look, the reflection parameters here are clear. The shading is clear. It has become more active. This part was darker. It has become brighter. Of course, this is just the light we provided from outside. We will also provide this from the inside. We will create brightness put inside using rectangle lights. From the inside, friends, look, I have provided these now. You can increase it if you want, but don't overdo the lighting. Otherwise, the explosion value here will increase, friends. Leave it at a certain level. So let it stay around 50, friends. I close this. Our angle value here, look, you can adjust this angle like this. The angle increased. You can also adjust the size of the angle from here. Let it stay at 60. Let's see, at 60 degrees. Let it stay like this, friends. Now, the next thing I will do is to add lighting elements from the inside. For that, friends, we will do something like this. I exited from here. This part is complete. For example, we can move it a bit more to the right. It seems a bit tilted to the left. Let's do it like this. Let it stay like this. Yes, let it stay like this, friends. In fact, we can even increase this angle, its own angle. A bit more, friends. Let me press this plus sign. I made a selection from here. Let me narrow this angle a bit more. Yes, let it be like this. It will be better if it opens too much to the right or left. Then the sharpness of the shadows here reflects inside and doesn't look good, friends. That's why I reduced the angle a bit more. Let's come here. Look now. Normally, I need to add light to all of these. These are spotlights. But again, I need to support this by pressing the plus sign here and using rectangle or spotlights, friends. Now, we will do it like this. Look now. Once I do one, since it compensates, all of them will be illuminated at the same time. Again, I say save from the file. Just in case of a shutdown, friends. I will add the spotlight here. I will draw a line here as a reference line to show the direction of the spotlight, friends. Then I will add the spotlights and ensure they are all active. Now I'm going back into my lamp. Look, I've gone inside thoroughly. I selected from the exact middle part here. I dropped the line downwards. Let's see which ones have the active line. Look, it's active in all of them. I mean, in this one. It's not active in the other one. Now it should be active. 1 second, let's do it like this. I haven't fully gone inside, friends. Let's delete this. Yes, now, when I draw a line, they should all be active. Yes, it's active in that one too, as you can see. Now, I will add a spotlight inside this line. Look, I came over. I brought it here like this, friends. Let it come like this and stay here. I also brought this one here. As you can see, the spotlight has been added. Now, how can you change the color of the spotlights? When you take any light and place it on this, the color of the spotlight changes, friends. Look, the color became this color, but I don't want this color. I mean, let it not be this color. It could also be a light gray. So let's go with white light for now. We can change the light colors later. The light operation is this. Let me set this to a value of 10,000 like this, friends, and let me go directly to my scene. Look, the illumination in my scene has turned out like this. As you can see, the scene is gradually becoming more high quality, more impressive. By adding lights, I have made it more beautiful. Look, friends, as you can see, let's turn around and see. My lights are visible here as well. Render engines like Enscape really love light, friends. It's very, very important for the light to be satisfying. Look, when I rotate, I can get an equal amount of light from everywhere. Of course, where are we still using this light? We're still in the high settings. We haven't set it to ultra. When we set it to ultra, you'll see a higher quality light. The current light is really nice. Not bad, friends, as you can see. This is the carpet in Enscape. You can change it if you want. You can also change the texture here from Enscape. For now, everything looks quite good. Friends, I will talk about the lamps used inside. They are also the linear type of lamps we call line, friends. We don't have coverings in these parts. We can apply coverings to them. Look, like this shawl. We can give a different pattern here, or we can give a different covering to these seating groups, friends. Those are up to us. Of course, when we use a slight reflection like oil paint on the walls, it will look more effective. And there can be hidden lighting in these areas. Look, in these parts, there can be hidden lighting going downwards. We will do that all together, friends. In this section, we have seen both the supporting lights from outside and the lights from inside. Look, here it has automatically added all of them, friends. That's the situation. And after we have added these, we will make our adjustments in the final part, of course. We will go to Ultra from the settings section. From the output section, by setting it to Full HD or Ultra HD, we will see the result in 4K or 6K, friends. When we achieve 4K and 6K, a truly excellent result will emerge.